Welcome to No Cover Comics.
Superman number 309, from March 1977.
The climax to a thrill-packed epic of Superman. Once this warehouse was in a good neighborhood, in a pleasant suburb of Metropolis. But times change, and so do neighborhoods, and now the suburb isn't so pleasant anymore. In recent years, mob figures have infested the area, and among them is a man named Samuel Simon, a man preparing for a private war. And yet...
Oh no, Superman. Not here, not now.
Blind Heroes Bluff. Story by Jerry Conway. Art by J.L. Garcia-Lopez and Frank Springer.
Don't sweat it, Mr. Simon. I'll give this Super Snoop a sunburn he won't forget.
You imbecile. That's Superman, not some garden variety fuzz.
Back in Chicago, we heard about this bum but we ain't buying it. Nobody can take a face full of flames. But nobody...
Just call me nobody, punk. I heard you were hiring out-of-town talent, Simon, to use in your so-called war against the Skull organization. But I never thought you'd pay money for thugs so stupid.
Move, you mugs. Shoot him.
You're simple, Simon. If flames can't hurt me, what good are bullets going to do?
The guy ain't human. The slugs bounce off of him like popcorn.
Frankly, I'm not going to waste the time it'd take to corral your soldiers, Simon. Instead, I'll use my own brand of shock treatment and bring you all down like 10 pins.
Less than 15 heartbeats later, at the local precinct house.
I'm not seeing what I'm seeing. Am I Superman? That can't be Sam Simon, Metro's favorite crime czar.
Ah, but it is, Chief. I tracked him down, thanks to a tip given to a friend of mine, newscaster Clark Kent. This new crime cartel, Skull, is trying to take over Simon's control of Metropolis rackets, and Simon was planning a counterstrike.
It's hard to believe we finally caught Samuel Simon red-handed. It's even harder to believe you did it, Superman.
Huh. Why do you say that, Chief?
Now, I may be presumptuous to say this, but it's always seemed to me you were somewhat aloof. Too busy with the big picture, if you get my meaning, to care about the small details.
Meaning what?
Well, it's a rare thing when you help us with a crime problem like Simon. I guess I'm just surprised you found the time.
I've been doing some thinking lately, Chief, and I've a feeling I'm going to find the time for those small details now. After all, this is my planet, isn't it? This is my home, and a man has to protect his home. First, last, and always.
What on earth brought that on?
You may well wonder, Chief, but you'll never know. We, however, are luckier, for we can eavesdrop on our hero's thoughts as he arrives at Metropolis Park, opposite the Galaxy Building, where he makes a lightning change from Man of Steel to Man of Mush.
Clark, so there you are. Late as usual.
Come on, buddy. We've got us a football game to win. Where's your team spirit?
This is what my life's been missing. What I used to deny myself when I believed myself a Kryptonian. Human contact.
Okay, team. Listen, here's our game plan.
Because I thought I was an alien. I avoided real human relationships, keeping the entire world at arm's distance. But what I learned a few days ago from Supergirl, that my whole Kryptonian life was a delusion, a fantasy I'd created, has changed everything. Supergirl says I didn't want to face the fact that I'm a mutant, a natural-born Earthman with power centuries ahead of my age. She claims I've created this Krypton fantasy because I was afraid to deal with people as equals, and perhaps she's right.
Here you go, Clarky. Run.
Huh, what? Oh no. I was lost in thought. I missed Steve's instructions. I've got to fake it. Wait, there's a goal up ahead.
Hey, you turkey. That's our goal line.
Oops. So much for human contact.
We'll leave Clark to his misery, and take this opportunity to examine a scene much more grim, joining Supergirl as she arrives in a place we'd rather not name just yet.
Thanks to the stars, Supergirl, you have come. We must speak quickly. There is not much time.
You sounded so frightened when you called me. Is anything wrong?
Everything. Look to that screen, cousin, and tell me what you see.
Oh no! A giant space armada attacking that lone planet. I've got to find Superman. Tell him we have to...
Wait, Kara. Have you already forgotten?
Kal-El may no longer be concerned with the threats facing other worlds, even when they indirectly menace this planet.
You can't be serious. My cousin has always battled injustice, no matter where it strikes.
Yes, but heretofore he believed himself a man of the universe, abandoned and homeless.
He identified with all men and all worlds, because he was, in his own way, completely alone.
Now he believes otherwise. He may no longer care what happens to a distant people.
I don't believe that for an instant. You're wrong about Kal-El, and I'll prove it.
I only pray you can.
Some time later, on one of the higher floors of the Galaxy building.
Boy, were they mad at me, and I can't blame them. Imagine losing an entire game by one little mistake. Still, even the fact that they're mad at me is something. It shows I can invoke a human response from people, and that's...
Hope you don't mind my waiting for you, but this is important.
Supergirl? What are you doing here? People will see you. They'll...
I locked the door on my way in. This is private. Listen.
Quickly, the Maid of Might explains, and when she's finished...
I thought the two of us should go to Zon immediately, before the warships can do much damage.
Nice thought. But count me out.
What did you say?
I've got my own life to lead, and my own problems. There are enough things here on Earth to keep me busy. I don't have to traipse around the cosmos.
Why, you coward!
Cowardice has nothing to do with it. It's a matter of priorities.
You can take your priorities, and you can put them where the sun doesn't shine.
The next few hours aren't very important, so we'll leapfrog to that evening, after the finish of the 6 o'clock news, as Clark relaxes at home. Or tries to.
Coward. She called me a coward.
What are you thinking about? You've been brooding at that window for almost half an hour.
It's nothing important. Just a question of priorities. Zon. A planet in the Cygni 61 system, about 11 light years from here. Perhaps, if I use my super telescopic vision. There. I can see Supergirl. And Krypto? Great Scott. What is he doing there? Supergirl must have summoned him. And now they're fighting those warships against impossible odds. They're hit. They're going down, and it's my fault.
Clark, are you all right?
Oh, as a matter of fact, Lois. I'm not. I've got a splitting headache, a bad stomach, trichine. Pick any of the above. In a word, I can't have dinner with you. So please, go home.
What?
I'll explain tomorrow.
What?
Go, Lois.
What?
Go.
Oh! You bozo! Ow. Clark Kent, if I never see you again, it'll be too soon.
But Clark Kent is already gone, and in his place there is Superman.
He goes, but does he go too late?
We have no way of knowing. All we can do now is watch and wait.
How long does it take to travel 11 light years, at a speed faster than light? According to Einstein, such speed is impossible. Yet if it were possible, how long would a man spend in flight? A second, or a year? There's no way to say. But we can tell you this, for Superman, the minutes seem to stretch like hours, until the moment of arrival at the planet called Zon, and the beginning of his greatest fight.
Looks like I've taken them by storm, and if I can do it, then Supergirl should have been able to, An armor-suited alien, ejecting from that airlock? It could be a gesture of truce, but somehow, I doubt it. Whoever he is, his aim's terrible. That power beam missed me by a mile. Perhaps he can explain what happened to Kara and Krypto, before I... That one snuck up on me. This fellow's power beams must be magnetic, yanking meteors around like dogs on a leash. Even so, he doesn't have enough power to defeat Supergirl. So how? Great Krypton. My eyes, I'm going blind. I can't see.
Stunned realization floods the Man of Steel, paralyzing him for one vital instant, as the armored alien slams forward, and in the deadly silence of deep space, there is impact. Soundlessly metal walls shatter, buckling inward, spilling hero and foe across a gleaming alloy floor. Dimly, the blinded Superman is aware of figures around him, of vibrations through the titanium bulkheads. Then he hears a dozen clicks simultaneously, and feels the staggering force of a dozen laser blasts of tearing energy, and after that, he feels nothing at all. Time passes, and when he awakes, His world is still dark, but no longer surrounded by empty space.
Cousin, you had us worried. We couldn't see you and didn't know how badly you were injured. Are you all right?
I think so. Kara, is that you?
Yes, Kal-El. I suppose you've guessed by now, the sun of this planet makes us blind, as well as cutting our superpowers in half. We're in trouble, cousin.
Don't I know it? By the way, I seem to sense someone. Someone definitely not human.
My designation is Cyrator, and in your human term, I am the chief instructor of my people, their leader.
I can hear you, but you're not talking.
Correct. Being of crystalline structure, we Zonians have no vocal cords, and so must communicate by vibration. Yet such matters are of little importance. You must understand our difficulty, and to do that, you must understand the J. To say that the J are a warlike people is to miss the point. They have no alternative to war, since their race has never known peace. The J have a peculiar reproductive system which creates 8 new J for every dead J, making the J a living population explosion. An explosion that expands so quickly the J overrun each conquered planet in the space of 5 Earth years.
On Earth, humans have a legend about a mythical monster called a Hydra. Cut off one head, and 2 more grow to replace it. You're saying these J are like that, but when one dies, he's replaced by 8 more.
That is precisely the situation. They cannot be defeated.
Cousin, what you just said about humans having a legend. You mean that you...
Yes, I've figured it out. I know you've been lying to me about Krypton being a fantasy, and I know I'm not an Earth being or a mutant.
I was afraid this time would come. How did you...
First of all, you kept calling me cousin. Yet, according to your story of my birth, you and I were unrelated. Our parents were scientists who worked together on an early atomic project. Not brothers. There were other slips. You called me Kal-El, my Kryptonian name, and you never explained away Crypto, my superpowered pet. Because I was so shocked by what you told me, I never questioned any of these things, until you came to Zon. That caused me to start thinking. And once I started, the whole lie collapsed. What I want to know is, why the lie? What did you hope to accomplish?
I wanted to save you from yourself, Cal. That's all any of us wanted.
Us?
That's right. The Kandorians are behind this entire fraud, because they were concerned about your sanity. The way you were acting to fix Earth, trying to protect it from mankind, interfering in matters which were none of your business, matters which should rightfully be decided by humanity itself. Well, you frightened us. You wanted to stop Earth from following Krypton's path into destruction, but you were becoming obsessed with it, going crazy. You're an orphan, and like many orphans, you feel that your true parents abandoned you. Kandorian psychologists, unlike Earth psychologists, feel that an emotional problem should be removed, rather than solved. And so they, and I, decided to remove your problem.
By removing my belief in Krypton.
When the pressure on a valve becomes too great, the valve explodes. The same is true, even of a Superman.
Your companion is under tremendous strain. I suggest you calm him before he destroys this entire planet.
Just tell me where he is, Cyrator. And then tell me how to stop him. How?
Like an explosion, rage only lasts long enough to cause destruction, and then it fades, leaving Superman flying blind, bewildered, until he hears a whoosh of air beside him, and knows that the true battle is about to begin.
It's one of the aliens who attacked me in space. I can hear his heartbeat with my super hearing. This time, I'm going to win the skirmish, for Zon, and for Krypton. Apparently he isn't alone. I'm stronger than each of these aliens individually, but all together, they're dragging me down. This is how the J conquer worlds, by sheer force of numbers. They have no tactics, no leadership. As far as I can tell, they don't even communicate. It's like fighting a war with a beehive. I can't. Wait. Communication. The Zons communicate by vibrations, by sonic force. That's it. That's how I can stop the J.
Great Krypton! I think he's gone berserk again. That crashing sound.
He's shattering our buildings, but I don't believe he is berserk. The breaking crystal is producing a sonic pulse, and it's having an effect on the J.
I can hear them falling. They're paralyzed. Superman's won.
Epilogue. After the victory, after the cleaning up, after the imprisonment of an entire race, 3 figures shoot earthward, each lost in thought, until their arrival over the great green hills of terror, when
Superman. Cousin. Will you ever forgive me?
the Man of Steel makes no reply, but he does gesture with a nod of his head, and guides his cousin to a landing, high on an emerald-specked mountain.
You shouldn't have lied to me, Kara, but I understand why you did, and in a few days, I won't be angry anymore. But there's something you have to understand, the real reason I became obsessed with saving Earth. Look, Kara, what you see down there is life, growing vibrant, fierce with energy. I love this world, Supergirl, as much as I ever loved Krypton. Perhaps in certain ways, I love it more. Because it adopted me when I was lost and alone. It made itself my home, when I had no home. It gave me life, when my life could have been over. If I'm obsessed with Earth, it's not because of Krypton, it's because of Earth, my home. I'm not ashamed of that obsession, Supergirl. I'm proud of it. Every man and woman on Earth should feel what I feel. And perhaps you should feel it most of all, because, cousin, you were adopted too.
When it comes, Supergirl's answer is silent, and more eloquent than words, for what her cousin said is true, and she does feel it most of all.
Thanks for watching. Please comment, like and subscribe.